Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Creative Life Studios. So today we're going to be playing in our single column journaling Bible and just having some mixed media fun. I'm actually using a different clear gesso today. This is actually the Liquitex clear gesso, and I like it sometimes because it's a little thicker and has a little more grit, a little more tooth. And so I like to use it for certain projects. And we are going to be kind of using this color scheme from Photo Play Paper from their Like a Girl collection. It's different than my normal color scheme, so I thought I would challenge myself to do something a little different. I've got my Inktense blocks over here, and I'm just trying them out to see kind of which colors go best with the stickers that I plan on using from this particular line. It's one of my favorite lines. I've used almost all of the stuff from this collection because it's just great. I'll leave a link to it down below just because I want y'all to have it. It's great. It has shoes and glasses, and the shoes have little wings on it. So as a runner, I love that. So you can see I've tested out an orange, a blue, and a red just to kind of make sure. I don't necessarily have to have an exact match, but I did want to keep them as close as possible so that they didn't clash. Um, I'm going to go ahead and hit my page with my heat gun just to make sure that that is completely dry. And I'm going to be using my Inktense blocks, like I said, in a red, an orange, and kind of a turquoise color. And I want to make sure that that's completely dry so that when I add my water to get those to move across the page, it's not weird and the texture is not weird and that kind of stuff. So I've got it all ready, and I'm just going to block off my verse that I am using, and we are in Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 7. And I'm just taking and starting with my red and my orange and just kind of scribbling them across the page and then activating them with water. I really kind of wanted this just to be very fun, very messy, so I am just adding more water to get it to kind of drip and ooze down the page, and blotting it just a little bit and just kind of softening the edges and that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to make something precise in watercolor. Like I said, we're just keeping it kind of messy and fun and just trying to blend those orange and that red together so it's not so obvious that it's two different colors, and softening the edge so it doesn't have such a harsh line at the end. I thought putting that little washi there would kind of block those colors from covering my scripture, and it kind of worked. It kind of didn't, but you got to shoot your shot and try a technique. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think it's just because it was such a wet medium. My friend Renee Davis does that, but she uses a lot of acrylic. So while it's still wet, I am adding some salt to this particular project and letting it dry. That, of course, if you're not familiar with that technique with watercolors, it not only helps your watercolor to dry faster because it absorbs, but it also gives just great texture and adds some almost like grit, and just kind of speckles to your work. Just a way to change it up a little bit. And I'm just rubbing it to make sure that all the salt is off. And you can see I've got just some little textures here and there. And I wanted to make sure that red and orange was completely dry before I added the blue, because those colors would make mud so fast and you would end up with just this kind of gross brownish concoction. So I made sure those were dry before I went in with my really kind of bright turquoise blue. And I'm doing the same technique where I'm just laying it on there and adding water to activate it and allowing it to just naturally drip down. And then I'm going in with a watered brush but no paint on it to kind of blend those edges a little bit. So again, I don't have that harsh line between the two. And of course, using the salt. And so again, just letting that dry, completely removing the salt. I think it's super fun. This is one of my favorite stickers from this collection. It says, "First of all, you're really pretty." And I thought that was hilarious because it reminds me of that Mean Girls quote, where Gina George is setting up Katie and saying, "You're really pretty." Oh, so you think you're really pretty. Anyway, that's a Mean Girls thing. So I'm just taking a turquoise acrylic and just using a dry brush technique to kind of give myself a space that is kind of popping off that orange. My letters that I was using are orange, so I want to make sure that they don't blend in too much. So I'm just playing with that kind of until I like it, but not really trying to do a solid block of color because I still want the reds and the oranges behind it to be able to kind of pop out. Like I said, we are in Song of Solomon, verse 7 in chapter 4, and it says, "You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you." And if you're familiar with Song of Solomon, you know it's set within the context of a boy and a girl love story. Sometimes it says weird stuff like "your breasts are too dough," and I'm not sure I would like that if my husband said that to me, but within the context of the time, I'm sure it was a real come on for somebody. But it really also comes to the idea of um, us as the bridegroom of Christ and the idea that he loves us and we are perfect and he wants to spend the rest of his life with us, and we are, according to this, that we are altogether beautiful and there is no flaw in us. And I just really wanted to kind of document that concept with this page. Again, pushing myself out of my normal comfort zone with the color palette, but then also just challenging myself to remember, in this world that we live in where so many people want to tell us we quote unquote should be a certain way or should be a certain size or look a certain way or dress a certain way, that really all that matters is that God sees me as a beautiful person, just the way he made me. So I do apologize for the lighting in this particular section. At some point, I hit the brightness on my camera and it was kind of blown out, and I'm trying to adjust it in post, and it's a little better, but it's still a little brighter than I anticipated. I do have a new webcam coming in the next couple weeks, so I'm real excited to see that. So I am just using some stickers from this Like a Girl collection, and just making kind of little collages, just to kind of reiterate my point, almost like little extra thought bubbles of "see your beauty," and then the top one says "you are awesome," and then of course that little air quote thought bubble over there says, first of all, "you're really pretty," and then of course the bottom one says "believe in yourself." And I'm not really sure what I'm doing right now and why there's no activity going on in this video. So, oh, there we go. Apparently, I had to walk away to do something and forgot to edit that part out. So, my bad on that. So I'm just playing and just trying to figure out the best way to group these little elements. I love keeping a collection of these kind of just random stickers and elements. I have a random collection of letter stickers, but I also have kind of this random collection of just elemental stickers because I think they're really great to kind of make these collages and just these kind of elements together. Apparently, right now, I think I must be cutting something off camera. So I apologize for that again. Oh, no, that's where I went. I went to go find inks because I was trying to figure out something was missing from my background and I felt like it just needed a little bit more texture. So I went and grabbed just some stencils and some distressed ink in the same color palette, and just kind of applying those. And you can see, even when it's that tone on tone, that red on red and orange on orange, it really just adds just a layer of depth and just dimension and interest to the project, without like a whole extra work. I'm not having to redo my whole background or anything like that, but it just kind of breaks up the solid colors going on in this particular project. All of these little stencils are from the Crafters Workshop, and they're super great. They're small. I think they're like a 3x3 or 4x4. So they're great for this kind of thing. This one is a 6x6. And I'm just using, again, those three colors. They are actually distress inks from Ranger, and the colors are Barn Door, Peacock Feathers, and Spiced Marmalade. Ooh, just in time for fall. Um, And then, of course, going in with a Marabou Graphics pen. Normally I would reach for my Sharpie gel pen, but I kind of wasn't 100% sure where I was going to kind of go with this particular project. So I did not want to use that Sharpie because, like, as we've discussed before, the Sharpie isn't permanent, even though it's got the Sharpie name. It will shift on you and bleed if you get it wet. Since I kind of wasn't sure if I was going to be adding anything else to this project, I went with my trusty Marabou Graphics fine liner, which is permanent and super useful, and I use it all the time. And so I kind of had this part done, and I started doing my outlines just to give it some pop off of my pages a little bit. And I love a good layout with some scribble. And then I am going in with a white jelly roll pen to kind of give the illusion of a 3D effect to my letters. It kind of gives it just that little bit of like glint, that little catch light to kind of give it some pop off the page. I just think it's fun, and it just adds a little bit of something, and it makes your letters not so static. And so that's kind of why I do that. And I can't make up my mind, honestly, what to do with this bottom corner. So I tried those once and then changed my mind, and now I'm putting those little flags back on there because I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? So, so a lot of Bible journaling is just trial and error, and sometimes maybe putting something down and taking it back up and then putting it back down and just kind of figuring out what works. I thought I liked those stickers because of the See Your Beauty. Um, yeah, they didn't work, so I took them off. But I put them back on my little sticker sheet so I could use them later because they're super cute. So I decided to do kind of another little note of encouragement, and it says, believe in yourself. And I wanted to give my stuff a little bit more pop, so I'm going back in with the white Sharpie paint pen. Just a little note. It's one of my favorites. But it is the water-based one, not the oil-based Sharpie paint pen. It's a little bit harder to find, but it's great for doing these kinds of things and that kind of stuff. So I was going to put the date up in the corner, but it looked kind of weird. So I'm going to use another little sticker from this collection and kind of cut it up to make almost like a strip journaling kind of thing so that I could fill that little bracket up there with the words "You are awesome." And so I guess this is kind of all about some self-love, some self-affirmation, whatever you want to call it. But I think we all kind of need that sometimes. And so I'm just going to stick those there and of course give them the same little treatment that I did everything else, just so they're cohesive in this entire project. Anyway, I totally love the way this came out, and of course it's different from what I normally do. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll come back next time and enjoy more Bible journaling fun and inspiration. If there's a product you'd like to see used in your Bible, leave a comment below and I'll have fun playing with that. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.